오늘 집에 가는 길에 내게 수고했다고 마냥 쉽지 않았지만 나쁘지 않았다고 숨 막히는
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are taking a look at the third unit track that just got released. It's 17's, I believe it's Cheers to Youth, something along those lines. It's the vocal unit. Very excited for this because I've heard that this one is very, it's deep and it resonates. So I'm very excited about the lyricism and production of this. So I guess without further ado, let's get started.
어쩌다 보니 처음으로 마주하는 오늘이라서 사무치게 아픈 말 한마디에 내가 더 싫어도 신경 쓰지 말자 우리 목소리로 어디서라도 부르자 청춘찬가
Isn't that, Hoshi, right? 호랑이. That's cute! What a creative way to do credits. I love this. Yeah, that was a super creative way to do the credits. Now, was it a bit difficult to know who did what? Yeah. Wow, okay. Now, there is another vocal unit song that will probably never, the reaction will never make its way to YouTube because it's just blocked because of how I filmed it. I'm sorry, but it was Pinwheel. I really, really liked that song a lot from the unit, and I like this one, but I think that one's still my favorite. So I'm gonna look at something super fast before we talk about this. Okay, so I do know that with some of a lot of like where their environments are set kind of showcase, I'm assuming, real lived experience because they're human too. And I think, I mean, straight out the gate, the lyricism is top tier. If you think about the first words out of his mouth, where it just so happens that it's our first time living today. Wow. Like, it's so fascinating that it just so happens that everybody experiences their first time living today and tomorrow, and it kind of creates a sobering reminder of, regardless of how influential someone's position is or how much of a celebrity status they are in fact human. So I find that such a very sobering line to people, whether it's just general public or people who are very affectionate as fans. I think that's very true. It's true, you know, and you can't really take that from them either. So we're just gonna kind of let it play a little bit, talk through it. So in this case, there was somebody who left a comment on this video, and they talked about what each member, you know, what their struggle is, if that makes sense. And I do know other groups, ATEEZ is an example where they have, you know, they set up environments, they have worlds essentially of lived struggles, or they show symbolism of their real life experiences. So for Uzi is, I'm assuming, the producer for this. He was I'm guessing, like, social anxiety, depression, anxiety, which that hits very close to home for me. It really does. And then it panned over ever so slightly to Joshua. I'm assuming work stress for that. And just because it's symbolism, because he's a idol. He doesn't really work in a corporate office, but it is work. Being an idol is a job, what they're doing, you know, and it's a very relational job, line of works, just like a choreographer is, a dancer. Anything that involves working with people, it's relational to some extent. For theirs, a lot of the tasks of the job, whether or not they love it or not, I'm assuming they do because there's a lot of genuinity behind what they do, it's still considered work, but it's fun, it's enjoyable, which is nice. And then we have DK here, and school stress was something that was brought up there. Even though their hurtful words make us hate ourselves more, that is also real. Regardless of how influential you are or how much of a celebrity you are, stuff hurts. You're human. I know for myself, I'm not nearly on the caliber or scale of what this group is at all, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. I don't want to be a celebrity. I didn't, there was a time I wanted to, but I'm very happy that I am not, because I do like being able to go somewhere and not have to have a security personnel with me, you know, but that's just a whole nother topic entirely. I digress, but my point being, hurtful words are hurtful words. I do get hurtful comments, not often, but I know the more I receive subscribers, or the more people that come to view my content, the higher the chance I have to receive hurtful words, because a lot of people only get a snapshot of my life, just like we only get a snapshot of their lives. Even though a lot of their life is recorded, it's still just a fraction of their lived life, right? So it's so interesting how relatable this is. That's Junghan, I'm assuming his stemmed from vision, right? Like losing sight. Even though the hurtful words make us hate ourselves more, every one of them, you know, showcasing tears. We can sing anywhere with our voices. It reminds me of, I think their makeup artist, was it their manager? It was 2 staff members for 17 got married, and they were there and they performed, was it Fighting, or BSS performed there at the wedding. And that's what I think of when I think of that phrase. Cheers to youth. I love the pickup of this where the phone turns into a fish. That's really cute. I love it. Songhwan wakes up. He's like, what happened? I know, I get that. Look how happy he is with a box with a fish. Then you have a fisherman saying, nope, that's not a fish. We can't fly. He's like, the phone people are like, nope, that's not a phone either. And then Woozi, I am sad for him that he didn't want to eat his chicken. I love how I love Korean chicken, like how they fry it. It's so good. Now, I come from a southern US fried chicken palate, so I'm used to eating good fried chicken, and so the Korean fried chicken is really, really good. But Joshua turning into a meerkat, I think's really fun. I don't know if any of them had, what's the word, had animals, you know. I assumed that Hoshi had a tiger as his symbolism because he has like a whole song, he loves tigers, but I don't really know about any of the other members outside of just their names and things like that. So he says, when I get scared when my phone rings, so I'm wondering anxiety, but also I do know saesongs are real, and I don't know, was he a victim of a saesong taking things way too far? Like, saesongs just take things too far in general, but I know, who's it, Mingyu also experienced possibly just like people getting their real phone numbers and calling them and bombarding them. It's just so not the best thing. So I'm wondering if that plays into this. I don't know. These days my heart is easily startled. I understand that. Very sensitive to your surroundings. Totally understand that. I want to be by myself, but I don't want to be alone. Oh my God, do I relate to that. I definitely am a homebody. I prefer to be by myself, but it depends on like how healthy I am in that intention, because sometimes I just want to be alone because I don't want people to see me be vulnerable, but also I don't want to be by myself because I want to be comforted, right? It's a double-edged sword of that. So I do relate to that. And it's interesting that it's DK. He's shown as such an extrovert. Like, every time I've seen stuff from him, he's so vocal, but that doesn't mean that you're not susceptible to the same things of people who are more, like, reserved at times. Where can my happiness possibly be? I love this mini concert vibe right there. Super fun. That was a super fun transition. I loved that. He just wanted to crowd surf and he woke up in his car. No one can answer that for me. I talked to my reflection on my turned off phone screen. Oh, it's definitely lonely, for sure. So everyone kind of has their own thing. It does have a triumphant side of it, unified community. That's something that I've really loved about 17, is they've showcased genuine community. And this is before I knew, like, really how deep their trainee days go. I still don't know the like how deep it runs. I just know they've been together for a very long time, even before they debuted. So there is a lot of lived life outside of the camera that they have experienced, especially coming from a company that's not considered a big three, or at the time big four now. Now they are, but I digress. Yeah, I love that with the Ajuma giving giving the iPad with the, I'm assuming Uzi, is that his, you know, robotic person that goes out and gets things for him so he doesn't have to go outside, or is that him in imagery like Joshua as a meerkat, right? I'm assuming it's that, but I love this. That in this suffocating world, I still find little things that made me smile. That is really, that's beautiful. And when people can still, when you live hard things, which everyone does, it just depends on what it is and how hard and how frequent, right? Finding little things that make you smile, it's, we don't realize how important those moments are until we don't have them, right? And so sometimes I feel it and sometimes I don't feel it, or I yearn for it. So I totally get that. I love that moment. It's so fun. It just so happens that it's our first time living today. Love that. Love a little bubble wrap. Pop, pop, pop. Fun. Yeah, so 5, I just find it interesting. 1, I think, oh, he's a rock. Got it. Okay, so if we look, we have, just to keep everyone up to speed, so it looks like, I mean, keeping myself up to speed, Junghan just has his glasses, right? And then Joshua's turned into a full-on meerkat. We have Woozi, who is an iPad robot. Then we have a phone that's turned into a fish for Seonghwan. And then we have DK has turned into a rock. That's really fun. That's fun. They look up. I love that. That's super fun. DK, yes, be fascinated. I would also be fascinated at the phone fish. For real. They could side note, totally sell that as merch and it would sell out. Kid you not. They could just take these items, a rock with the googly eyes, sell out. I'm telling you right now. Love it. We can sing anywhere with our voices. Love it. He takes the glasses, he takes them off, and he puts them in the same bowl with the fish. Love it. Hugs. I love it. Ah, hug. Sometimes you don't realize how much, like, even if you're not a physically affectionate person, like for me, physical touch is something that I'm very sensitive to, so I don't really hug often. And for me, I do want to change that. I want to grow and improve in that area to be able to, you know, receive a hug and feel the warmth from it, but also be able to give hugs. And because those in my life, a lot of them, physical affection is definitely something that makes them, it's a form of love for them. And remember, love is an action, if you didn't know that. It's not an emotion, it's an action. So it's that right there, to me, that's very loving. I love it. And it felt very genuine. Just the fact that, you know, they've lived experience the way that they have, and the fact that they're able to make this together and not alone speaks volumes as well. My warm, my cozy blanket wrapping me around with this humble warmth. Ah! Yes! Love it. Now, have I ever technically said who's my favorite vocalist of 17? I have not. And I will tell you this. I had a preference to DK's tone before I even knew 17. So I will stand by that. I still feel my favorite vocalist to listen to from the group is DK. Now, my favorite dancer is a different story. I don't know. I actually can't answer that right now because I've looked at 17 and at this point, 75 plus analysis of their movement quality at this point. It's awesome. I love it. So I'm very familiar with it as a group and as soloists and as subunits. I've always looked at them as a group, if that makes sense. And I love that because because 17's not 17 without everybody. It's kind of what it feels like to me. And I think that's kind of what their underlying point has always been. It's that we're not 17 without all of us. You know, even when somebody's injured, it doesn't feel the same. And I know the fan base feels that way. I low-key feel that way too. There were more times than not when I would do analysis where I would have to count how many there were to make sure I had all 13 there, you know. So I think, and I just find that so interesting that I don't technically have somebody who is my preferred movement quality basis for the group. Even though they have main dancers and things, I don't really look at that. I look at just my personal preference. But when it comes to preference of vocals, I still stand by, I really like DK's vocals. But I really liked Sung Hwan's vocals, specifically in Maestro for his section. I loved the runs that he did. Phenomenal. In the beret, killer. Gives me hope for tomorrow before I go to bed. The alarm will go off tomorrow morning. I love it. Yes, kimbap. Ooh, kimbap looks good. Look like, it's not naengmyeon. Cold noodle, I'm not sure. I hope I will hate it less than I did yesterday. Yes, isn't that the dream? Hate it a little less than yesterday. Even in the suffocating world. Oh, cute. Everything will be fine because I will love myself as I am. Wow. And remember, love is an action. So it's not just, you know, the action, the act of telling someone. It's the act of telling yourself, I love you. That's something that I feel like I don't do enough. I don't tell myself I love myself nearly as much as I should. Because a lot of times I live with me as kind of a good example. And I know you guys can resonate with that. And they probably feel this way too. Being content with where you are and admitting defeat in areas that you feel incompetent in. Not defeat like you're not going to try again, but recognizing where you are and where your faults are and being okay, that's where I am. Because we're not told that, right? Especially for me being in this position and me talking through in this way. A lot of times it doesn't come across like a lot of people are going to look at what I look at and how I talk and how I articulate, and a lot of them are going to come in on a random video, and I know that there's responsibility to be had regardless of whatever somebody looks at first from me, and they're going to look and they're going to be very critical of how I come across because they don't. Once again, it's a snapshot of me as a human and not the full scope at all. Even though I have almost 1,000 videos on YouTube at this point and well over 1,200 on Patreon, it's still just a snapshot of my life, right? So I think that line is something that I need to tell myself more, because I'm very quick to tell others that. Like when somebody does something, I really love to make it known to them, because that doesn't happen as often as I wish it did. But I don't do that to myself as much. So thank you, 17, for this lyricism here, because it allows me to kind of look and not audit myself, but look and say, am I actually telling myself I love myself where I am? Am I I happy with where I am? You know, it's just really good thought-provoking questions, but I love the gregarious, hopeful build that we're presenting here. Just so happens that it's gonna be our first time living tomorrow, and those flowers remind me of God of Music, doesn't it? Right? Even though their hurtful words make us hate ourselves more. All like the fireworks feel familiar as well. I couldn't place it. Is it God of Music too? Oh no, is it F It? Is it that one? It's a F My Life, or yeah, Find My Life or something like that. I think Joshua described like it even comes across one way, but it can also be like I'm finding my life. Love it. Love that cassette filter. Honestly, a good chance they had somebody that had a real cassette player and they shot that, because that's I mean, just go ahead and just get one and just shoot it that way instead of trying to filter it up. But also just it's a whole thing of converting that footage over to a digital file. It's a whole thing. Anyway, love that. I love it that you have everybody's now grouped into twos, or you know, or groups of 3. Cheers to youth. Love the rock. And they're all taking taking a nice Polaroid. Oh, that's so fun. He takes his glasses. He's like, I don't need them. Cute. Take the photo. Honestly, I love that, where he's taking a photo. Part of me thinks they turn it into a wallet, like that's real, because that's different than the animated one. So I think that's real in the shot. I love that. Super cute. It says Tiny Issue Club. Welcome. Tiny Issue Club, Tissue Club, address Tissue Club, 17th Street, Carrot District, Fantasia, contact number 12-2015, 526. 2015, what was this, 0526. Is that their 2015 is the year they debuted, right? Maybe? I don't know. 526, is that the date? Like the month and the day? 012, I don't know what that is because they have 13 members. So that I would assume it's that. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. It's okay though. Love that they all look, and then you have Tiger. So real. Love it. It's so good. So good. I love this. Like, I really love how they did this. Oh my god. Good chance. I mean, does it look computer generated? Yes, but also part of it feels like about is I don't know how they shot that. I'm so intrigued. Maybe they edited all of that together, or they had somebody shoot and then in post-production they gave it this more animated feel. I don't know, but it does look like the credits were handwritten. It does look like that. Do you know what I mean? It feels that way, but also it's really all the O's look the same. So maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to overread into it, but all that to say, I thoroughly enjoyed looking at this. This was such a beautiful visual. I do know they debuted this one with the live and all of that, but I really liked being able to just look at the lyricism here because they have the translation here, and to just enjoy this and feel and sit in it. You know, I think the cinematic visual really speaks volumes and goes very deep, and I'm glad that I am in the position now where I can empathize to the extent that I can versus coming into this not knowing what I know, if that makes sense. But I enjoyed this a lot. Okay, I wasn't going to look at this. I literally just told you I probably wasn't going to look at this, but then I wanted to. So we're going to look at the live version because I did look at the live version of Spell, and I haven't looked at La La Lee yet. I will do it. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at it. Let's just listen, give it a listen. I just want to see how they are when they do something for the first time. I want to see what kind of emotions they showcase live for something like this.
청춘찬가 청춘찬가
Oh.
캐럿들과 함께하는 지금이 청춘이다.
Oh, they look so happy doing that. That was really, that just made me, you know, like it made me just want to just enjoy it. Both times when I just listened it all the way through, I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted to invest, you know, just with my ears. That was really, really nice. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see more 17, I have it. I have a lot of it released on YouTube. I did some older reactions before this gets released on YouTube, so hopefully you'll see some of those there. But like I said, I have pretty much most, if not, I mean 98% of their discography that has physical content involved in it. I have taken a look at, which is really cool. I'm excited for you guys to check it out as it comes out in their comebacks, but also on Patreon, ad-free, ready for you to binge away. It's pretty awesome. I've really enjoyed my time with them, and they were my first marathon. So all of my marathons I've done moving forward have been because of how 17 started it all for us on Patreon. So that was really cool. Once again, my name is Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side.